Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Yeah, here we go. 79. Episode 79. We're in March. We're in spring. You know how it's going. Come Lucid with Matt Duncan. We're in the rebrand. We're way into the rebrand now. We are way in. You know, we're talking about losing weight. We're talking about fitness. We're talking about losing, I don't know, I'm losing my socks. I'm losing my fucking scissors. I'm losing forks. You know, and I'm... You got it. All right. All right.
Sound right, boys.
Let's go. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Welcome back. Shout out to all my WordPress followers. I for some reason get a lot of followers just following my comeloseit.wordpress.com, liking and following. That's great. I don't know if you're real. I don't know if you're just out there hustling, trying to get your own health blog going, but you know what? I do appreciate it. I do appreciate the people that have done the reviews on the iTunes, on the Apple Podcasts, as they call it these days, and the Spotify, if you could. They do ratings now. I know that's a bit of an evil company. I know people feel a little weird about the Spotify, but unfortunately, they are taking over the podcasting market. I don't really listen to podcasts on there. I rarely do. I mainly stick to something like Pocket Cast. I find that one is the most intuitive, the most nice looking. I like seeing all of your beautiful artwork out there. So anyway, here we go. March. Been a fucking weird March. Fitness-wise, we'll get to that. And also just world-wise. You know, we're in the opening turd here. You know what the opening turd is? It's the big opening dump of the Come Lose It podcast. Okay. And the first thing to say is that we are now in the phase, especially here in Canada, especially here in Ontario, that we are sleeping on COVID. We are now done with it mentally. We were just waiting for that fucko, that, you know, Dofo the clown, the hash dealer. You know, I've warned you many times on this podcast, do not trust someone who only sells hash. And that is what a lot of people in this province have done. And now we have a premier who says, you know what? It's saying that we don't need masks anymore. We've got enough beds to not go back to masks. He said that. We got enough hospital beds, so you don't have to wear a mask anymore. And I'll tell you something. I live north of the city. I'm no longer a city boy. I'm in the GTA. I'm in one of the biggest voting blocks in the federal election. And the people up here, they're ready to move on so fucking fast. It's definitely 50% at least not wearing a mask now in stores. And, you know, it's kind of like a bit of a standoff with us as people that do wear masks. You know, they're judging me. I'm judging them. We're doing our classic Canadian passive aggressiveness. I haven't been called out. I haven't been in any altercations yet, but I'm welcome to them, you know, because I'm a little itchy these days. It's been a long 2 years, and now I feel like, oh, you know, we're just going back to being okay with, we can't solve it. Let's just all get it. Let's just all fucking get it and go from there. It seems to be the new mandate. Our fucking premier doesn't want to do the testing that is required anymore. So he scaled that back. But people, you know, they're still testing the wastewater. You know, all our shit that goes in the tubes. They're testing that for COVID. And apparently the estimate is we're probably around 25,000 cases a day. And it is increasing in the wastewater. And I definitely know it is a Newmarket because my in-laws live here and they have COVID right now. So I don't know what to do. It felt like we were, you know, being hopeful with staying home and masking and respecting each other and trying to just, you know, get rid of this fucking disease once and for all. But now it's like we're just going to accept that, hey, you're going to get sick when you go out now. You go to the movies, you go to a show, you're in a closed place, a restaurant, you're going to get sick. And hopefully you got the boosters. Hopefully you don't get the long fucking COVID. We're going to talk about that later too. So it's just, hope's at an all-time low for me with this stuff. And it's hard not to be pissed off when you've done everything you've been asked to do over the last 2 years. And then because an election's coming up and because people are tired of it, we're just going to fucking go back to square one. Do you remember how we were acting when there was only like 20 cases, 400 cases? Now there's 25,000, potentially even more than that. And we're all like, I want to go to the keg, not wear a fucking mask. I pay my taxes too. We are the dumbest fucking province, dumbest country. I mean, all countries are fucking dumb with this stuff now. They're surging in fucking South Korea. They've locked down 37 million people in China because of outbreaks. Like, it's still so bad. And I think it's just like we're right on the edge. We were in the center of that hurricane, and we're just, that edge of the hurricane where it's the strongest part of the storm. I think it's coming. And Uncle Matt was right before. So you trust Uncle Matt when he fucking talks to you, okay? And I just pray because, the people in my life that are unvaccinated, you are about to be tested Mortal Kombat style with your immune system. And I wish you the best because you are going to, hopefully, you know what? I do hope in the sense that I don't want you to die. I do hope that those people in my life that are not vaccinated, I hope that they get it and it's mild and they can go on with their bullshit about COVID, about it, not being real or trusting this and trusting that. I'll deal with that because it's getting to the point now where I was like, I just don't want you to die. I don't want you to get long COVID. I don't want you to have to fight for going on disability to something that's kind of hard to diagnose for insurance companies or for the government. It's just that worry. Anyway, don't want anyone to get sick. I just want it to be really over. You know what I mean? Not I'm over it. Taylor Hawkins died. Okay, so I grew up playing drums. I am not a Foo Fighters fan, really. I never really got into them. I don't know if it started with some resentment because, Dave Grohl went from Nirvana to that and became a frontman and played guitar and sang. And it was just, he was the dude. He's the dude I wanted to be as a drummer. But when they poached Taylor Hawkins from Alanis Morissette's band, this guy was fucking awesome. And they're on tour in South America and he just fucking died. And of course, the fucking internet, all the fucking anti-vaxxers are like, yeah, you see, they're only allowing vaccinated people in their concert. It's the vaccine that did it. And then something just came out today and said, yeah, there's like 10 different drugs in his fucking piss right now. That's them just telling from his piss. They're not even doing the blood test yet. The piss came back immediately. And he's got fucking opioids. He's got weed. He's got fucking benzos. He was full of shit. He overdosed. He's a rock star. It happens. Especially with drummers. They're fucking crazy. And Taylor Hawkins, I think, had a heroin problem. He does have like a heroin chic kind of look to him. So I'm not here to make fun of his death. I feel sad for music. It's like one of those things where can't say I'm listening to a bunch of their music, but I just appreciate their existence and I appreciate Taylor Hawkins as a drummer. So it's just really sad to see that, how it goes when you're in another country on tour and you die. It's just it's a great rock and roll death though, you know what I mean? Last parts of these fucking opening turds I want to talk about. I fucking had jury duty request again. This is the second time I've had it in 5 years, okay? And the last time I wrote a letter saying that I can't do it. I asked for an excusal. You mail it in. Someone left a message saying you're excused. You move on. This time, you got to email it. You got to send a copy of your jury request and your jury number and all this stuff. Did the exact same kind of thing. Pled my case. No response. No response. So I'm starting to freak out because there are penalties if you don't go to jury duty. So I fucking had to get on the phone and leave a fucking message. And then sure enough, after I left that message, excusal came in the fucking email. I don't know. Are they looking at my like Netflix history? Because I watch a lot of true crime shit and, you know, a lot of trial stuff. I don't know anyone that has been requested for jury duty more than me in 2 different jurisdictions. And I think when I was going through this too, I was starting to get these weird texts from some guy. And he kept saying, he's like, Kevin, is it you? Like, I feel like I got a text from some guy named asking if I was Kevin weeks ago. And then I ignored it just thinking it was spam. And then a couple weeks later, I get the same text. Kevin, why are you ignoring me? I'm like, Kevin, I go, there's no fucking Kevin here. So I responded, oh, you're not Kevin? Well, I'm in the area. Do you want to get together and be friends or something? You can imagine what my response was. I think it was something like, fuck off, weirdo, don't contact me again. And, you know, there was a small moment after I did that where I felt a little bit bad. You know, like I felt like, what if this was someone that was really hurting and like they're randomly texting just any number they can think of in the area code to try and get someone to respond so they can be a friend. And I told them to fuck off, you weirdo. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. You know, I felt bad for 2 seconds and then I went back to feeling great about it. I felt fucking great. All right, we got some big fucking birthdays today here on episode 79. Come lose it. Quentin Tarantino is 59. The man's turning 60 next year, for Christ's sake. Quentin Tarantino, one of my favorite directors. Funny enough, I have not seen Death Proof or Grindhouse. I need to watch those movies. They've been on my list for so long. I don't know why I never watched them, because I'm usually like a day one Quentin Tarantino. Nathan Fillion is 51. He's Canadian. I didn't know that. And, you know, that's another show. Firefly, I never got into. You know, it was a one-season wonder. Cult classic, though. People love it. I think I tried to, and then now it's nowhere. It's on no platform. I don't think you can watch it anywhere. But I had no idea Nathan Fillion was 51. God bless him. Happy birthday. Brian Tarantino, now he's dead. Okay, but he would have been 63 today. You'd recognize his mug as Uncle Buck's gambler buddy. You know, obviously has gambling troubles, and Uncle Buck telling him to go bet on the horses, or, you know, he was bowling with them, but you could tell they both have gambling issues. He died of a drug overdose. Theme today. About 3 years ago. He missed the pandemic at least. Holly Perrette is 53. Now, you would only really know her if you watched NCIS. She was like that goth chick drinking the big gulp. Remember the goth chick? I don't think that show's still going. And she hasn't been on in years. They've probably done like 400 episodes since she left. That's pretty much all she's doing. I think she's kind of, you know, she had another sitcom and she's just chilling now in the 20s. As you gotta do. Sometimes you just gotta fucking chill. Kevin Corrigan's 53. You would know his mug to see him. I remember him in Superbad. I remember him in Freaks and Geeks. He's a bit of a tough around the edges kind of guy. It seems like he should be in more Scorsese stuff. I would imagine he has been. Got a face for it. Fergie's 47. You know her. She pissed herself on the stage. That's what she's known for, the piss. Hot piss on stage performing with the Black Eyed Peas. 47 today. Black Eyed Peas are a weird band to like, you know? Does anyone really like the Black Eyed Peas? Is anyone rocking out the Black Eyed Peas? I don't know. One of my favorite actresses of all time, Anne Ramsey, she died in the 80s. But you know her as Mama Fratelli in The Goonies. She would have been about 92 today. She's a gruff character, okay? Real gruff. Nominated for an Academy Award for Throw Mama Off the Train, or Don't Throw Mama. Throw her? Don't throw her? didn't win, unfortunately. Died shortly after. Mariah Carey, she's 53. Wow. That's crazy. David Jansen, he died 42 years ago. One of them dart kings. I like to call them dart kings. He's in The Fugitive, and you know that dude smoked darts hardcore because he didn't even make it to 50, and that's just the way it goes in life sometimes, but you gotta give some love to the Dart Kings.
Fitness update.
All right, fitness update. Let's go. You know, it's been a shit March. I ain't gonna lie. You know, like at the best of the 4 weeks that we've had, I think I've worked out 3 times once. There's been a couple of only 2 times. I just have been busy. I don't know what it is, man, but all this Ukrainian stuff, but it like really took something out of me where I was just like, fuck it. Fuck it. You know, I had a bit of that attitude with the fitness, but I'm getting back on it. As soon as I'm done this podcast, I'm going to go back. I'm going to fucking work out. I got a couple of self-tapes I got to do. You know, I'm not thrilled about the weekend self-tapes. I will say is the one thing they are taking advantage of. Oh, now we can make them do auditions on the weekends. It should never happen when we went inside because nobody there wanted to work on weekends in casting. But now that we're doing all the work, all of it, that we can do it on the fucking weekend, you know? And obviously I've got more time. I should be happy, but I'm a jaded fellow in the biz now. I'm a jaded motherfucking fellow. So I've got a couple of small things to do. It's no big deal. I'll get it fucking done. I'll do the best that I fucking can. But it just frustrates me a little bit. And, you know, especially this is my last hurrah with all this stuff too. You know, like I'm not going back in for first calls anymore. This is make or break for me. If my agents listen to this podcast, which I don't think they do, if they did, they would know that this is as far as I'm going with it. I'm not going back inside. Maybe for a callback, but definitely not for first call. Definitely not for voice. Dear God, that is definitely done. I have been so unsuccessful at voice. It is insane. I've really struggled with it. It was something that I really wanted to do, but I just can't figure it out. I've gone to coaches and I just, you know, can't get, I'm probably fine, but I'm not like, oh, you know how to play the piano of voice. You know, I'm not there. And there's just like 10 or 15, 20 people in the city that are. And so they book everything. It's really that low of people. So anyway, fuck that. I'm trying to work out. I did a good workout yesterday. The exercise bike, we are almost at 2,000 kilometers since purchasing it over almost a year and a half ago. I don't know if that sounds like a lot, but you know, I've got my distances that I'm trying to reach. We hit Mississippi at like 1830. Or no. Was it New Orleans? I think we hit New Orleans at 1830. And I think the next one is Newfoundland. I think it's St. John's, Newfoundland. So I'm leaving New Orleans and I'm going to St. John's. If you're trying to visualize where I am on the exercise bike, you know, still pretty happy with the bike. You know, I'm careful with it. It's been fine. It looks like on Amazon, the bike does not exist anymore, or they do not sell it anymore. It says it's currently unavailable and they don't know when it'll be back. I think it's been like that. I check up on it every once in a while. They didn't get the best reviews. You know, a lot of people, these things come over in a shipping container. That is 100% a fact because some people, you know, I know people that have to do deliveries on shipping containers. It's fucking choppy out there. And when those things are going up and down, shit falls in the containers and shit gets destroyed and bent and broken. So I think that's what was happening. That was a big part of the problem. Like seeing pictures of these bikes just like all fucking bent and like they've been in a car accident. It was fucking crazy. So, but I did get a free bike. My first one was a dud. They sent a free one. It came faster than the first one. I'm happy with it. I've upgraded the seat. We've talked about all this. So anyway, I'm trying to get back on the bike more. I'm trying to fit it into my day. I'm trying to work out earlier. I don't know why I've got this thing about working out late. I'm always working out watching the hockey game, which I'm about to do again right now. You know? But I will say that I'm not being as hard on myself about it. So hopefully April will be a little bit better.
Health news. News that is health related.
Okay, health news. Couple interesting things. We're going to go back into the COVID a little bit because I do want to talk about long COVID. Okay, and there are people that are going through it. It is apparently a nightmare, and I swear to God, I had this before the pandemic actually started. January of 2020, you know, I had that bad flu or whatever in the beginning of November 2019, and I swear I got COVID because I had all the symptoms of COVID, and I also had the symptoms of long COVID, the fatigue, the like sleeping disturbances, the weird heart rate stuff. I could feel it when I was playing hockey. I felt so exhausted all the time. And like, I thought it was just depression because of the situation I was in. I lost a lot of weight. I lost about 20 pounds. So maybe that tied into it. Maybe it caused it. I just don't believe I didn't have it because, man, I just remember feeling so tired. And I had to go play hockey, and I was like, I feel horrible. I somehow managed to do it. So with the long COVID, here's the problem, is that there's about an estimate of like, they're saying 3 million Canadians have gotten COVID. I think it's way more than that. But they're saying of that number, about 10% have long COVID, so about 300,000. Could be a lot more, could be 50%, somewhere between 10 and 15% of people will get, who are infected will get long COVID. And it's kind of a hard thing to prove after you've had it, because now we're all vaccinated. Obviously the people that are vaccinated have a lesser chance of getting it, but it's hard to, like, I'd almost think that like you'd have to be unvaccinated to prove that like, yeah, here are the antibodies, here are my symptoms. But we've got all the shit in us now, so it's hard to tell, you know. Anyway, when it's just something like fatigue and shortness of breath, and, you know, they're like, oh, you're anxious, get more sleep, drink more water. It just seems like they want to fucking do that now. So it's just such a worry for me right now because young people are getting it. It's not just like really, really old people. And there's not really any support that the government is providing for people that are getting this. Like some people that do labor as their job won't be able to do it because they'll be too fucking tired and sick and can't breathe and their heart rate's flying over the place. And, you know, like what the fuck are they going to do? Is everyone just going to go on fucking disability? Is that what we're going to do? So I'm like reading this article about this woman in CBC, and she got COVID at the beginning, so before she was vaccinated, and then they got it again because she's got kids. And it seems like if you got kids and they're in school, you're getting COVID. If you got kids and they're in daycare, you're getting COVID. There's no way around it. You're getting it because they don't give a fuck. And especially now, the kids are like not wearing masks and oh my God. It's a fucking nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. I will say this. If you are someone who does have long COVID, if you're experiencing symptoms, you know how I hate fucking Facebook. I hate all that shit. I wish I could blow it up with a big red button. I wish I could. But there is a group called Long COVID Canada. If you are in Canada and you're looking for some support, if you're looking for, you know, to see like, hey, are other people feeling this and yada, yada, or, you know, just need to talk it out. There is a Facebook group called Long COVID Canada. Search for it. Check it out. I think it's helping a lot of people at least cope with it a little bit. But, you know, there's no guidelines in place, so we don't know what the fuck to do. You know, you just got to hope that you don't get it. And I'm just so worried about people around me getting it. I'm worried about getting that feeling back that I had before. But, you know, hopefully they'll figure something out just like they did with the vaccine. Is what I'm saying. Long COVID. Fear it. Now, this is an interesting thing. Moving on. There is a birth control pill for men, and they could begin human trials later this year. You remember when you were in like high school and you're starting to become sexually active and stuff, and I felt like every guy was like always asking women if they were on birth control. And I will say, I had a girlfriend in high school who was on birth control, and I did see, you know, the instability that it can provide, because it really does fuck with your hormones. And it can just really messed with her head a lot, you know, and they didn't really talk much about it. But it seems like most women that I talk to now about the birth control pill, they don't even go anywhere near it because of the risks associated with it and what it can do to you mentally. So the male one is not a hormonal one, and that is the reason that they're trying to create one for the men, because it should be less invasive, and it will be a non-hormonal one, so it's not going to fuck with the... You don't want... Men already have roid rage from steroids. We don't want them fucking turning into fucking the Hulk. So what it does is like it blocks proteins from binding to vitamin A. It's something called retinic acid, and it's known to be crucial to fertility and virility in mammals. So if you don't have that bind, then you're not going to be able to have a viable sperm, I guess. And they've tested it on mice. It's apparently 99% effective with mice. And then 4 to 6 weeks when they stopped it, they were able to conceive again. So, you know, you got to do the human trials. You got to see how that goes. But that could be a good thing. You know, man, would you take it? Would you take the male birth control pill so your fucking girlfriend doesn't go crazy? So she doesn't risk getting blood clots in her lungs? Had a friend that happened to. She was a hardcore smoker and she was on birth control and she got fucking blood clots in her lungs and she quit smoking and she quit the pill. And I know it's a very effective thing and it helps with acne and stuff. I know women would take it for that, but I feel like you got to be really careful with it because there's a lot of fucked up when you're fucking with hormones. It's just it really messes with the natural flow of your body. know? But don't listen to me. I'm no fucking doctor. Yeah, I'm just a guy reading articles on pop science or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? But this fucking male birth control pill, wow. And, you know, I've talked about it before how we already have a male birth control pill. It's called plastic. And that's already fucking with our sperm and whatnot. So, you know, that's pretty much the health news I want to talk about with you guys. Hope you're healthy. Hope you're well. Let's get on to some other shit. Other shit. Okay, just a couple quick things because, you know, I hate when I get on too long with this. I'm probably at about 30 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. 30 minutes is okay. So I went to, my mom was in town recently, and I went to get some fish and chips. From, you know, when you find a fish and I'm living in like, you know, I'm not going to say it's a small town, but it's got a bit of that feel in certain parts where there's the old plazas and the old fish and chip shop. So I went to get fish and chips at this place. And there was like, it was super old and crusty and it had like faded posters all inside that are sun bleached. You know, like when you're in Greek town and you see like the Greek soccer team photos that are in Greek town and in Toronto now, like they're all so sun bleached because it was so long ago and they were so proud of it. It was like too close to the front and everything. You just can't even see their faces anymore. It's so sun bleached. That is what these posters looked like in this fish and chips place. And, you know, it's like I grew up going to fish and chips places in like Etobicoke, little family-run places that had that same feel, you know, like the fucking orange booths and whatnot. Had that feel here. but it had these like posters up and it was all like eating fish propaganda. That was super weird. And one I took a picture of and I will post it in the show notes. Remember, always click on the images or click on the show note hyperlinks. It's usually just to some dumb photo. But usually with the health news, I try to link to the articles I'm talking about so you can read and get your own opinions. Because we know opinions are something that we desperately need more of during all this shit. I'm so sick of it. I feel bad that I'm out here trying to tell you to make up your own shit, but that's what you got to do. You know, you got to do what's right for you. Anyway, fucking fish and chips. So there's one poster and it says, there's like a picture of a young girl, if you're looking at it right now, and she's got flowers in her hair. She's wearing like a white dress and it says, "Why eat fish? Don't miss walking her down the aisle on her wedding day." And I'm like, okay. And then it's got some new, it's like Harvard School of Public Health found that eating moderate units of fit, you know, like, okay, so you got your little fact. 36% it says it can reduce heart disease. This is at a fish and chips place where they deep fry fish in batter. And you're telling me that this is like healthy? Like, what the fuck? I just like couldn't believe it. I've never seen, I've been to a lot of mom and pop fish places. I've never seen shit like this. I literally burst out laughing when I was waiting for the order to come up. And then there was like more, you know, just talking about how good eating fish is for you. Let me tell you something about halibut. It's a big fucking fish that they cut up. And the bigger a fish is in the fucking ocean, the more mercury it has. So I don't think it's super healthy for one to be eating deep fried fish and two to be eating a fish that is so ginormous that it's probably full of mercury. It's just like, I couldn't believe it. And you know that these posters have been here probably for over 25 years. So yeah, but it kind of makes me happy because remember when we thought smoking was good for you? Remember when it was a stress reliever? This is what this feels like to me. It feels like I'm walking into an old smoking lounge and, you know, there's doctors in there and they're telling me, "Why are you so stressed, man? Just smoke a cigarette." It's so fucking weird. Big day today. Today's the Oscars, okay? Like, I don't watch the Oscars so much anymore. You know, I'm not big into the Oscars. I used to be so into the Oscars. You know, I love my birthdays. But like the Oscars was like, you know, it's just something fun. You go to parties, you do the pools, you get drunk, you eat apps. You know, I loved it. I loved the whole thing. But now I'm getting older and I'll check in. I'll probably check in a little bit tonight. But the whole thing, it's just like, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. But I like to see some actors get their dues, you know, and I'm just going to say, well, it's Will Smith's time. It's fucking Will Smith's time. I watched King Richard. He's fantastic in it. And this is one of those canon years where it's like, okay, you've done a lot. You've never won something like this. It's time for you to win. This is your Denzel Washington in Training Day moment. Probably isn't the best performance. Maybe Cumberbatch is better. It's Will Smith's time to win. I really hope he wins tonight. Because you can see it on Cumberbatch's face. He'll be back. We don't know if Will's going to be back. He's all fucked up with his fucking family. They're all. I feel like that's a chaotic house. I would never want to live with the Smiths, Jada and the fucking kids. And it's like you wake up and they're painting you or something. I don't know what the fuck. They're fucking weird. They're fucking weird, man. But yeah, I hope that wins. You know, I haven't really watched a lot of it. I did watch Dune recently. That was a crazy visual movie. Let me tell you something. If you're in your pool, just keep clicking Dune for all the visual shit, sound and editing. It's going to be Dune for that. But who fucking knows? Like, who fucking knows? That's all I got today on 79. I don't know, you know? All I got today. 79, we're moving into the 80s now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for rating. Thank you for checking me out. Whoa. It's all... Oh, fuck. I'm spinning out of control.